Okay, so I recently watched I Like to Make Stuff's video about making a reclaimed pallet bench or bench seat. So this is basically going to be my version of it, which is very similar. There's not much difference in it, other than I'm not cutting the boards in half. I kind of really like the solid, heavy, full thickness of these all glued together. Yeah, so this is basically how wide the top's going to be. I've already clamped it up. Well, I haven't glued it yet, but I'm just sort of testing it, and I've just got to cut a couple of pieces to fit in here to finish off each end. Alright, so I've got the nicer pieces on top here, the nicer surfaces on top, but it's actually aligned flat to the table. So what I'm going to do is, as I glue it up, I'll flip it all over and glue it all together and have the top laying against the table so that what I want to be on the top is more level, so I don't have to do as much sanding afterwards. Alright, all done. Here's the result of all that glue up after drying for a couple of days. It's fairly flat, but definitely not very even. I mean, the boards weren't that even, but I guess if you look overall, it is pretty well lined up. So next up, I'm going to get on to do a bit of hand planing and try and get this down. I really want to get it all level. I'm not too worried about keeping all of the rustic look. And also, if you haven't figured it out by now, I've got no idea what I'm doing, so I don't even know what type of plane this is, but I have it and I got it for free, so may as well use it. Alright, so here's the finished result, or should I say finished result after a few hours of planing by hand. I think this is as far as I'm going to take it, because I mean it's not dead flat, but it's perfectly comfortable to sit on. I'm just going to use the sander to smooth it all off and get most of that out. So now I'm thinking I might fill these little gaps that are in here with some sawdust and glue. Well, I might fill that big gap with something, but then there's also all these other small gaps that over time they might get stuff in them. Alright, so all the gaps have been filled up with the sawdust and glue, and we'll see how that goes. Now, I could have left it raised up a bit so that I could have sanded it perfectly flat, but I'm not worried about being a little bit below the surface as long as the gaps are filled. And it saves a lot of work by scraping off the excess glue. There's hardly any left to sand back down, whereas if I had have left it raised up a little bit, it would have been a lot more sanding to do. Alright, so that sawdust and wood glue's all hardened up. That was about a month ago now. I've been slightly distracted by this little thing over here. A little 3D printer setup. So yeah, that arrived just after I started making this bench. So now that I've had a bit of fun with that for the moment, I'll get back to sanding this. Alright, so this is taking forever with the sander. So what I've experimented doing now is just using the hand plane to skim off the top again, and then I'll just go over this again with the sander afterwards. Alright, so that's pretty well cleaned up now, so rather than sanding it now, I'll wait till it's pretty much finished actually. But next I'll square these edges off, get the circular saw across the edge and cut that off square, because that looks pretty crap. Just couldn't quite cut deep enough, so I had to finish the rest off with the handsaw. That's pretty cool though. Alright, so next I am going to use these nice bits of hardwood off the pallets for the legs, and all I'm going to do is cut a notch out of each corner and then mount these in vertically, obviously. Alright, so the legs are all attached and here it is. Haven't sanded it yet, but pretty much done. Anyway, let's get to sanding and finishing. Okay, so I cut the sanding footage a bit short because it's just boring, but it's all sanded and edges rounded over. It's pretty nice. I only used 80 grit because it's only sort of outdoor furniture. So next I'll just give it a nice rub over with some linseed oil. Okay, so that's all on there looking good. This red gum stuff's come out awesome. All done. Time to take it outside, put it in its spot. I don't actually know where its spot is, but anyway. Looking pretty awesome. There's some rough cuts on here, but I figured all this wood has like saw marks in it anyway, so who cares if I've got my own saw marks in it. It's smooth at least, so yeah. I put an extra screw in the top and bottom of each leg to give it a bit more strength. Alright, all done. See you guys next time.